Connolly. Yeah.
I welcome the opportunity to speak on this once again. I'm not sure how many more times we can ask the government to act. We've heard the deep concern, we've heard you deplore, but we've not heard you take any action. And indeed, in the thorough speech given today of avoidance by the Taoiseach, it's crystal clear that he takes pride in our lead in the UN by leading by example, but we fail to lead in Europe, and we're waiting all of the time for action from a Europe where van der Leyen, already quoted, has said that the Israeli state made the desert bloom. From a European Union where Borrell has told us that they really don't like to use the word apartheid in relation to Israel, notwithstanding that the report that was published in February of last year, with detailed report, 4 or 5 years research gone into it, utterly ignored by this government minister. We've asked repeatedly, what is the reaction of the government to the Amnesty report? Very specific recommendations were targeted at governments. Minister, can you tell us why you're ignoring the Amnesty report? Can you tell us why we're ignoring the fact that 6 human rights organisations, 2 or 3 of which we fund, have been designated as terrorist organisations? That was back in October 21, and since then the silence is deafening. Although in between we were told on the 12th of July, a joint statement which we waited for. I will just get the Minister's attention in relation to this very important subject, really. It's the only time we get to speak on Palestine. On the 12th of July, there was a joint statement by the EU members, including Ireland, that no substantial evidence had been provided by Israel, and affirming their support for Palestinian civil society. On August the 22nd last year, the organisations were raided. These are human rights organisations ransacked and forcibly closed with confiscated equipment. We have an operation called cynically, and cynically doesn't capture it, Operation Home and Garden, where they go into a refugee camp that's 70 years old. That in itself tells a story. A refugee camp, one of 19. This one is there for 70 years. And the Israeli army goes in and calls it, to my horror, Operation Home and Garden, and they destroy all around them. There was no water. 3,000 people left with nowhere to go. The vast majority have gone back to absolute destruction, and still we remain silent. We remain silent and wait for a Europe that has no intention of action, a Europe that we're complicit with, that has described Israel as a special friend and given Israel a special position as a trading partner. And a Europe where Borrell has told us that everything outside of Europe is a jungle and Europe is a garden. I'm asking today that we finally give our reaction to the Amnesty report. I am asking that we give a reaction to the designation of 6 human rights organisations as terrorist organisations. You might confirm, are we now funding terrorist organisations? Because that is the reality of what Israel has done with our collusion. You might try and give us some clarity and depart from the script, Minister, in relation to the wholesale slaughter and murder, which is happening in our name because of our complicity. We can't keep going on and saying, this is not, we disagree with this, we're concerned, and take absolutely no action. We've had many chances to take action, including 2 bills, one tabled by Sinn Féin and one tabled by Senator Francis Black, one in relation to divestment, a very practical matter, and the other in relation to imports from the occupied territories. And we have taken none of them on board. And still we say that we are standing with the Palestinian people. We clearly stood with the people of Ukraine, and rightly so. No hesitation in describing the invasion by Russia as illegal. And all sorts of dissembling when it comes to Israel's action. Israel is tearing itself apart at the moment, that democracy, and I pay tribute to the courageous people that are there, and legislation going through their parliament to take away the powers from the judiciary, the one thing left with oversight. And what are we doing? Have we stood in solidarity with those brave people in Israel who are saying, don't do this in my name? Thank you. Concordia.